Hello everyone, this is Adrian Howard with Weather Rampage, and this is your hurricane alert mode for Hurricane Michael here on Wednesday, October 10th, 2018. And I am giving you another hurricane update before this dangerous hurricane makes landfall in the northwest coast of Florida as a major hurricane, major hurricane. Very powerful hurricane indeed to hit the Florida coastline. This hurricane has the potential to cause some major destruction, and this hurricane of this magnitude has not hit this part of the Florida coastline as far as records go back. So this is a major storm for this location and center point here on the northwest coast of Florida as it continues to barrel northward. Now I'm going to give you the stats on Hurricane Matthew. Stats on Hurricane Matthew as of Wednesday, October 10, 2018, 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time, Intermediate Advisory 15A, National Weather Service National Hurricane Center. At 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time, the center of dangerous Hurricane Michael was located at latitude position 29.0 north and longitude position 86.3 west. And the maximum sustained winds were at 145 miles per hour, and its movement was north at 13 miles per hour. So this storm has really strengthened since the last video that I did of this storm. So I thought I would do another video because this is now a major category 4 hurricane. And I would not be surprised if it strengthens to category 5 status before making landfall. But the time is running out for this storm right now, and it may not have that much time to strengthen any further than what it is right now, but it is not completely out of the question. So what I want to show you here is there are tornado watches out here in Florida and also Georgia, and this includes Panama City, Tallahassee, Apalachicola, and then in Georgia, Albany, Volusia, and those areas in Georgia, because on this side of the hurricane, or this side of the storm, is where you find tornado spin-ups. And as the hurricane winds come around from the southeast side of the storm, a lot of times you get rotation and supercell storms, and rotation spin equals a tornado. So watch out for that as this storm barrels inland. It is a very fast mover as it continues to barrel inland. And we've been telling you about the storm for quite some time now. I've been telling you about this storm for quite some time. And it is here now. It is about to make landfall in the next 2 hours. Probably around 12:30, 1 o'clock, or maybe even earlier than that. Here, somewhere between Panama City and Apalachicola, Florida, as a major category 4 hurricane. I see no signs of it weakening. And here's a radar imagery loop showing that hurricane. You can see the eye wall of this storm is very intense eye wall of the hurricane right there, and the tornado watches, which is on the northeast semicircle of the storm, the north front semicircle of the hurricane, the right front quadrant of the storm is where tornadoes usually occur. And I want to show you some awesome satellite images of this storm, and it will blow your mind. As you can see here is the image of the storm right now at this point in time, and you can see that eye wall, very pronounced eye wall, as this storm has strengthened into a category 4 hurricane and potentially reaching category 5 status. And that eye wall is very pronounced, folks. I haven't seen an eye wall like that, like this, in a while in this area of the country as far as Florida, and for a category 4 hurricane hitting this area of Florida. Not to say I haven't seen eye walls this discreet, but this eye wall is very discreet, and it is going to cause a lot of damage, and loss of life is possible to almost certain with this storm. So please be safe with this storm. I will continue to keep you updated on this, but I'm leaving you some images of satellite to show you how well pronounced this storm has been and will continue to be. And here is another satellite loop. As you can see, that eye is very symmetrical. This is a very textbook classic, perfectly symmetrical hurricane type storm, or actually it is a hurricane storm, as it continues to move now due north and northeast now as that cold front continues to battle this storm and try to move it out of the way. but the cold front is losing, but it is moving the storm out to the northeast. And something I wanted to tell everyone that I observed this morning is that the hurricane kind of strengthened on the west and northwest side and also the western sides of it to kind of block the cold front from moving it. A lot of times hurricanes do that to try to protect themselves from wind shear features, and that is what this storm did, and it successfully completed its mission as it continues to move to the north and barrel into the Florida coastline with a devastating blow and catastrophic impacts as it continues to move into Florida. And I'm just showing you satellite images. This is the brightness temperature, Dvorak brightness temperature satellite, GOES 16 channel. Just some awesome imagery. Here is the GOES 16 channel brightness temperature loop of the storm. Just a very well pronounced eye wall with the storm. And here is that with the water vapor imagery. Here is that wind shear I was talking about, which continues to kind of try to shear off these tops. But notice of the hurricane. But notice that this here, where the hurricane continues to breathe outward and fan outward, it is fighting against this cold front. So it is at war with the cold front. The cold front is at war with it as it continues to battle each other out. And eventually these two are going to meet up to produce a flooding situation. But the hurricane is not going to stay in one spot for very long. But the Carolinas and Georgia will be affected by very high winds, 70 miles an hour or more. And also the tornado threat as well. And Florida will be affected by this hurricane directly by the eye wall. 100 mile per hour winds to up to 145 mile per hour wind speed. So just wanted to show you that. And let's see if I have another satellite image here. Here's another satellite imagery. Look at that. Just textbook classics, folks. This is just awesome. It shows you the awesome power of nature right here as this hurricane continues to move closer and closer to the coast. And here's another image, a true color image. Look at that. That is an awesome image right there. You can see the eye wall clearly and directly on this. This is a very large storm also. It's going to have a lot of impacts. As I mentioned before, there's another image, true satellite image. Another image of the hurricane as it continues to move. And this is an awesome image as well. This is the brightness temperature IR satellite of the hurricane. And those cloud tops are really deep, as you can see. And this is what I'm talking about here. You see on this side of the hurricane, the cloud tops are way deeper and higher cloud tops on this side of the storm than they are on this side of the storm. I think a lot of this is what protected the hurricane, like I said, from being sheared apart by that wind shear that was to its west. But nevertheless, it is moving the hurricane to the northeast, and the hurricane will be out of this area soon, but not without causing the devastating blow and devastating destruction as it moves into Florida. Wherever that eye wall hits, there is going to be devastation. So just thoughts and prayers to people in this area as this hurricane continues to barrel into Florida. And I think that is all the images that I have to show to you. Well, no, I have one more image to show you here. I want to show you this because this was a really dynamic thing that I saw. I can see if I can stop the image and go back to it. I want to go back to it. Okay. This is a really dynamic thing that I want to show you here. Let's see if I can zoom in and out. Okay, I'll just have to show you this way. On this is the super resolution velocity tilt showing the eye wall of the hurricane, which is in this location right here, and also the couplets side by side. This couplet is beside this couplet, and here is the eye wall. And those couplets side by side represent the winds coming to and from the radar site. And wind speeds in here were measuring. And on this side, when I measured the wind speeds, and I looked down here and I measured it right here, wind speeds were up to 145 miles an hour. So that was powerful. And then, if you thought that was powerful, I looked on the other side here, on this side of the eye wall, and wind speeds, I clocked wind speeds at 155 miles per hour, and that would cause this hurricane to be a Category 5 storm if that actually translated down to the surface as 155 mile per hour wind speed. But that is what I captured on radar, and I thought it was interesting. And I'll show everybody that. But that was what that was showing. That it was the measurement. The radar was measuring wind speeds this high in the eye wall of the storm. But I'll keep you updated on this hurricane. This will probably be the last update as far as my alert mode as far as the hurricane, because the hurricane will be coming ashore very shortly. So I will probably, if I do another update, it'll be a graphical update, and that'll be it for this hurricane. But thoughts and prayers to everyone with this storm, and I will keep you updated by little updates, and probably just kind of here and there say stuff about the storm. This is Adrian Howard, Weather Rampage. Take care, everyone. Stay safe out there.